Yeah, actually, I'm going to record what we got, and then I can put it online and share it with you, and you won't have to worry about remembering anything that I said.
That'd be great.
It'll be held against both of us that way.
That's
So,
fine.
with Cloud Screen, instead of having to be real smart about editing web pages and all of that, or be at the mercy of the webmaster for the school, what it lets you do is put together pages where you can have all kind of stuff online. And this is a souvenir page from one of the graduations in Aiken County. The one that I did for you guys looks pretty similar. Let me see if I can. It's designed to be, well, come on. I'll try to make it get bigger here. It's designed to be 1080 to fill up the screen, so trying to fit it on part of my screen while we're talking is a little hard. But basically, Coach, what Cloud Screen lets you do is take the desktop and cut it into boxes, and each one of those boxes can have different kind of content in it. And when we did this, where it's got a YouTube video here now, it was a live stream of the graduation. So
Right.
that box had the graduation. Over here, they had a senior slideshow they'd put together. So I had that in this box. The the school board had put together this little congratulations video, and I put that down here because he
Okay.
couldn't be at all of the graduation, so we just figured it was easier to share it. I got the
Right.
sound muted right now. We had the sponsors information here.
Okay.
I'm thumbing through this with my mouse, but this is the kind of thing. Pretend this is your football game or track meet or whatever, where they could have the live video going out. And we'll actually do a pretend one here in a second, but you could have the video in one box. Obviously, it would be branded as the school and the program. But one good thing that you could use to get more money out of the sponsors is their information that's on here. And keep in mind, this is a web link that's going out on the web. So you could
Right.
have hundreds, if not thousands, of people attending the event,
Right.
particularly with this social distance thing. If you can't fill up the stands, a lot of folks may not have any other option but to watch an event remotely. So
Right.
the sponsors' logos could be here. And what I did one time was take the sponsor logo and put a QR code with it so you could scan that QR code when you saw the thing on the screen, and then it would pop up their website or Facebook or
Right.
whatever. So if this happened to be, I don't think I got like a pizza place. No, I don't have any pizza places or anything like this. But, let's say Marco's Pizza or McDonald's or somebody like that is there. People could order food while they're watching the event. So the sponsors ought to think it's
Right.
pretty good. And we had the graduation program, just a link on there that you could pop it up and have the
Right.
graduation program there as well. So instead of the normal thing that everybody's done in the past, where you go watch the game and you buy a program and it's got the stuff about the players and whatnot in there, and then the sponsor information they paid for, you can have that, but it's virtual, so lots of people can get it, and
Right.
they can print it out if they want to keep a souvenir
Yeah.
copy. And hop in anytime you got any questions.
Okay.
Let's pretend this is we're doing something live, because we will be able to do something live. And actually, you can, if you want to participate, either pull this up on your phone or on your computer while we're doing this.
Hmm.
You can pull this up and actually interact with it just like I'm doing.
Okay.
If you'll pull my website is idsinc.tech. In fact, let me text that to you and I'll make you laugh easier.
Okay.
Because with my accent, I usually do everything phonetically because that's a whole lot safer. So you should be able to, there you go. If you click on that, we should be able to walk through everything I'm
Yep.
doing on the screen on
Okay.
your phone.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, scroll down there to at the top where it's got number 5 with virtual. Let me go back here and you can see it on here. Let me go back to the top. This number 5 virtual
Yep.
events. See that one with the professor there, number 3?
Yes, sir.
Click on that, and that's what's here.
Okay.
And we'll pretend this is a football game or you pick something. Now, don't get mad at me
Okay.
because Aiken High's branding is on there, but that's just the
That's fine.
example I got. So, but the great thing about it, you can make it so that the boxes have, you know, the school's logo. You can do the colors. You can put pictures. You can do videos. And a great thing about it, you can do a lot of stuff that people can interact with on your end, like down there. And if you're doing this on your phone, it might be a little small, but you see this
Right.
part down here on the right where it says chat in well wishes.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and down that blue part at the bottom, just put your name there where it says name and then type some message below and hit enter, and it'll automatically show up on the screen. There we
Yep.
go. Now you can do this a couple of things. It's got profanity filters built in, and if you didn't want people to just be able to put stuff willy-nilly on there that might
Right.
be offensive, you could actually make it so the blue part hangs off the screen, and you could have like chat into D Youngblood at
Right.
BSD or something like that, and you could have somebody that actually punches in the stuff that's not rude.
Right.
But you could have a well-wish kind of thing. This slideshow that's here is just a ready-made slideshow that I cooked together. What I'm going to do, the live video, and this is what I did during the graduation. There's a free service called Twitch that you can use for streaming. And the great thing about Twitch, besides being free, is you can do it from an iPhone, an Android, computer, and camera, or whatever you want.
Right.
I'm streaming from my phone right now, and I started it up a second ago, and you're getting a wonderful shot of a bottle of Coke sitting on my desk.
There you go.
So you could have people at the event. They wouldn't necessarily have to have fancy cameras and computers.
Right.
Think of your guys on the cross country course
Mm-hmm.
or the golf team where somebody could be at the different holes showing what's going on. And again, if you had sponsors at your event, they could have you could set it up so the sponsor stuff would be in the frame as well. So you could have video going on. You could even have multiple windows if you wanted to, or multiple people recording. I'm just going to set this thing down. You could have multiple people recording and have like click here to see hole 1, hole 2, or whatever the event is.
I got you.
So that's one kind of layout. If you go back to the home page, the one that's next to it has got something kind of fun on it. That demo 4.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as fancy a looking screen, but it's got an extra cool thing. And it's got most of the piece parts that we already did. But
Right.
I've got a slideshow down here on the left that's just got pictures that I put together about some of the things that we do. And I've got a neat little program that lets you take pictures, and the text that's sliding on for captions,
Right.
that's actually the name of the picture. So if you give the pictures meaningful names, it's real easy to, with a few clicks, to make a slideshow. Now, what is really fun, in this upper left corner, you see where it says email photos to livepics@dropevent.com. You see that?
I do. Yes, sir.
take a picture of something in your office. I just did that and right before I called you or before we did this, but take a picture of something in your office and in the subject line put something, something cute or fun or something in the subject line and hit send,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll show up automatically in the slideshow.
Okay.
So if you had, and there's a couple of ways we can do this, it can be moderated so you're not just turning a bunch of kids loose to take pictures of anything they think is fun, because that could be a mess. You could either have it totally open and any picture that you take shows up, or you could have it moderated where you've got to approve them.
Right.
Or if you send them to like D Youngblood at BSD, you could have somebody that's getting the pictures and physically putting them in there. And this could just say, live from the game or whatever on there.
Right.
So these are a few things that you could do with Cloud Screen for a live event, because even though these pages are kind of similar, they're different in look and content, and all these are is something that you put together real quick from your dashboard account. You get a URL from it when you publish it, so then you've got a URL that you can list in on the school's website or shoot out through social media or however you want them to promote their event. And then they're making pages that are giving them a lot more promotion for everything they're doing. And again, the ability to have the sponsors info on there, that ought to be worth a few dollars to y'all.
I would think so. Yep.
Because
now let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way to charge people to watch the event?
You could do that. You can put, there's a couple of ways to do it. I have put password protection on the page. Of course, once one person gets the password, everybody's going to have it when they share.
Right.
You can have what's called a paywall, which you pay for the service, and then you can have kind of a wall between viewers and the content, and then when they pay their few dollars with credit card or PayPal, then then it's kind of like pay per view.
Right.
So you could have it. I haven't actually set one up myself because I haven't had a reason to, but I was looking at, there's a bunch of paywall programs, and they have different price points with them, but there's a lot of ways to protect it so that people have to pay admission to watch it.
Well, I think that's, my conversation with Mr. McCormick today was because we got a lot of information today from an athletic standpoint. And, one of the things that we do know is that there's probably not going to be fans in the stands if we start the season when they're talking about starting the season. So we were trying to find a way to sort of meet the needs of our community because environmental sports are very important, and being able to do that, but also trying to find a way for it to be able to sort of help us generate revenue to be able to do, to kind of carry on with all the other things that we need to kind of carry on with.
I totally get that, because you guys are facing something that you've never faced before. It's kind of like, how can we have the team and still make money and everything? I did just a real quick, I haven't looked for a while. Okay. I just did a real quick search for paywall programs and found a whole bunch of them. So this is the thing about it too, if you wanted to have some of this stuff, with the paywall, I think you could actually have, like, if you wanted the live video part of the screen, be behind the wall so they can't actually see the game. I think you
Right.
could, since this is a web page by itself embedded in here,
Right.
you should be able to do parts of the page be protected content they got to pay to see, and then some of the
Right.
other stuff is just there, so you could tease
Right.
them and do it that way. But the subscriptions that I looked at, they weren't big dollars. You know, it was, some of them are like $50 or $80 a month or something like
Yeah.
that. But you know, that'll be something that you could reach out to the boosters and say, hey, we're going to do
Right.
this service, and then to be able to monetize the games, we got to do this and
Yeah.
get them to pick it up, and then you're charging something comparable to what you've been charging.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine we would probably try to keep it as close to the ticket price as possible.
Yeah, and actually, it kind of is, since you're going to have little groups that are comfortable to getting together, it may be like what the small group concept for church, where you may
Yeah.
have a family or a few friends get together, and maybe they got a TV out on the deck, and
Yeah.
there's a bunch of them sitting around socially distanced watching it together and
Right.
enjoying themselves. So
Right.
there's a lot of things you could do, but the beauty of Cloud Screen, basically Cloud Screen is digital signage where if you know, anywhere you've been that people got TVs on the wall and they're playing content from the web,
Yes, sir.
that's digital signage. But with Cloud Screen, it literally takes it off the wall and runs it through a browser. So then you're not limited to where it goes, because anybody that clicks on that link that has an internet signal can watch what you're doing, or depending on the content you do, can interact with what you're doing, which you could do. We did a fun thing for the Air Force group over at Fort Gordon. They do this trunk or treat thing in the fall over at the exhibition center. And this past year, they had a contest for the cutest costume in different age groups. And they had a link that everybody could get on and vote for the cutest costume. And they had a feature with that polling software that I embedded the actual voting results as they did. So you could see live on the fly on the projected screen how the voting was going. So
Right.
it's fun. And, you know, that was something that we added last second, which is another great thing about Cloud Screen. If you get, you know, if it's 10 minutes before showtime and then you remember that somebody forgot something, or somebody comes up with a great idea, it's not the end of the world, because you can update the screen at, you know, at the last minute. And I got a
Right.
perfect example of last minute. I was doing this celebration of life, and, you know, of course, celebration of life is kind of a
Yeah.
downer, but let's think this is something you're doing, you know, the senior awards or whatever.
Right.
But I found out about this job and got the project on a Monday, and they were going to have it Friday evening at a bar at Lake Murray. And I told them, well, send me pictures and videos, and I'll put something together for him. I hadn't gotten any links to anything till about midnight on Wednesday, and they kept sending little bits and sending little bits. So instead of trying to put together a video, which it was getting too close to showtime, what I did was just get online and Google his obit and found some words that I could have scrolling on the screen. And when
Right.
they sent me pictures, I made a slideshow, and he was a musician, so they kept sending me YouTube links. So I put together a YouTube playlist here, put a slideshow together here, and I had a computer hooked up to a projector and sound system there at the lake, and had this playing up on the big screen. And they were still sending me links to stuff right at showtime Friday afternoon. So I was sitting there relaxing, everything's working, and life is good. And they were still sending links. And instead of it being the end of the world, sorry, all I had to do is get online, add the extra content in, hit publish, and then the screen changes. So last minute is not the end of the world. the
Right.
flexibility of how stuff can look and things you can have on the screen together. You can't embed everything under the sun on the screen, but you can
Right.
embed an awful lot of stuff.
Right.
Like, really, I'm a big fan of YouTube playlists.
Right.
If you had some kind of form that you wanted to fill them out, if you clicked on that on your phone or a tablet, the keyboard would come up. You could do all that. I've got our web page here so you can see stuff on the screen at the same time. And this gives you the ability to put together very custom layouts that to suit what you're wanting to do.
Right.
And especially getting the students involved, because when Franklin and I were talking and putting together doing something for, let me find it, cloud. I don't have links to everything, so it gets to be a little bit fun sometimes. Let me pull up. When we were thinking about doing it for Barnwell, I told Franklin to get some of his artistic and creative types to put something together for us. So let me see. So what they did, they just drew up something that they just sketched it out on a piece of paper that kind of looked the way they wanted the screen to lay out.
Right.
And then I used that as a template to make something that I could have on screen. So they were able to make the layout for me, and somebody down there put together the slideshow.
Right.
And of course, you all put together the programs, and I had them. Franklin would send them to me when he got them. So all of the events were here, and this is kind of like the greatest hits. It's got all of the different things together in it.
Right.
So it's real easy to do something that incorporates material that's already recorded, or have YouTubes beside the live stream, or put together slideshows before the event, or put together, where we at? Yeah, or put together pictures and content live on the fly that's going on.
Gotcha. Well, that's I think mine. Like I said, mine and Franklin's conversation this afternoon was just, I told him, I said, we need to find a creative way to be able to, really, I don't know, kill two birds with one stone. Give our community access to what these games are going to look like and be able to do that, but also, be able to offset some of the cost of it, because, outside of we might lose a little bit of money cutting costs on security because you won't need as much,
Right.
but you're still gonna have officials, and you're still gonna have things of that nature that you're gonna need to have, and so that money, now all that stuff costs. So, we need to try to find a way to offset all of that.
I totally get. Oh Lord! All right, I'm gonna send it to you from a different email. So yours is D Youngblood.
Yeah, D Youngblood, BSD.
Oh, hang on a sec. Youngblood at bsd45.net.
Yep.
This is a link about the paywall.
All right.
Paywall programs. There's a whole bunch of ways to put something between the audience and you. So that would be a way to monetize this thing. Let's say, okay. So you guys can look at that. That is, and in my signature on the emails, Coach, it's got what I've been walking you through is different sections of our homepage.
Yes, sir.
And I've got links with the numbers that correspond to these piece parts up here in my signature. So if you want to go back and open up any of this stuff, the links are right there to get you to what you need to do.
Okay.
But there is so many things we can do with Cloud Screen, and I'll send you information on that. Basically, I was going to have an introductory pricing on the cloud screen to be $600 a year for the school.
Right.
Now that would that live picture thing, that's a subscription that would be a little bit more, but basically that would, if the school had a license, that gives you the ability for the football team, the baseball team, the everybody that dresses up and does something,
right,
able to log on, create pages,
yes, sir,
and put stuff together to serve the needs of what they do, because there's so many things that you can embed from other resources.
right,
You can't embed everything under the sun, but you can embed an awful lot of things to make for some fun, creative ways to, for people to enjoy the stuff because they can't come to the games anymore.
Okay, well, I'll look over this stuff and I'll forward whatever you send to me to Franklin. And I got to be in a class all next week, and it works out well because Franklin's on vacation. He's actually going to be on vacation next week too.
Okay.
So I guess it'll be the 27th for me and him get back together. And so we'll have time to sit down and talk, and then I'm pretty sure we'll have some questions, and it may probably be good if me and Franklin probably reach out to you together. We may just do a Zoom with both of us together.
That'll be fine. He has seen, other than a couple of examples that I walked you through because they didn't exist when he and I first met, he's for me, and of course, it was when we got together a while back, so whether or not he remembers everything, I don't know. But I mean, there is a bunch of, and we can get into all the other stuff that we do down the road. I mean, we could have, if there are places there in Barnwell or some of the surrounding communities where you'd like to have screens out where they could see stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do beyond just cloud screen, because I can turn glass into a touch screen if you wanted something that people could watch outdoors somewhere. I mean, there's a bunch of things that we could do.
Okay.
Just do this real quick, but I mean, again, this stuff's in my signature, so this could be where people could be watching it outdoors. We could do this on a vehicle window, so there's a bunch of different things you could do to have fun.
Okay.
And be able to watch the game wherever you're at.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm gonna send him this stuff, and me and him will kind of talk back and forth, and then we'll sit down and talk to each other, somewhere close to the 27th, and then we'll be back in touch with you.
Okay, sounds like a plan. When are they going to let you guys? I mean, is school supposed to start at its normal time?
Well, the governor really, the governor came out with his message today, but the question that we don't know the answer to was he gave the date of September the 8th. We don't know if September the 8th is a uniform start date for everybody, or you have to be started by September the 8th. So our superintendent is still trying to get that figured out. The big thing for us is going to be, when is our season going to start? It's supposed to start September the 11th, but right now I don't know whether we're going to be home on September the 11th or whether we're on the road September the 11th.
Well, have you all been able to even start practicing?
We had 4 days. We came out for 4 days and started summer conditioning, and then numbers shot up, and we postponed it to another date. Numbers were still high. So we were actually supposed to start back this past Monday, but the numbers went over 2,000 over the weekend. So our superintendent was like, well, let's just wait, see what happens this week. And so right now we're on hold and make another decision hopefully by the end of this week about next week. But it's very fluid at this point.
I can imagine, because there's a lot of unknowns, and this is a new world. So, but I appreciate your time. So I will.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you taking time to meet with me today.
Well, you're quite welcome. So holler at me if you need anything else, and I'll put this video online. That way you can go back and reference it, and I'll send you all a link, and I'll be happy to jump back on a Zoom with you guys whenever.
Okay. Man, I appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.